And a Seminole alum, Lee Corso, will be calling the action in that ball game at 7:30 Eastern Time. That, of course, will follow our scoreboard show, which gets underway at 7 o'clock. And coming up next, it's college basketball with the Wildcats of Kentucky taking on the Pirates of Seton Hall. And that should be an interesting game. The Pirates, of course, is on the way, and they'll meet the Kansas winner in the semifinals. It's Cal taking on Kansas in that other semifinal at the Great Alaska Shootout. All in all, it's hoops and pigskin coming your way on our menu here on ESPN. ESPN travels north for a semifinal matchup in the Great Alaska Shootout. Eddie Sutton's Wildcats struggled against the depleted Iona team last night, but sophomore LaRon Ellis was a bright spot. He had 22, and he was helped by a steady performance from freshman Chris Mills, who added 14. Last season was Seton Hall's best since the Big East was born. P.J. Carlissimo's Pirates lost some scoring punch, but still have Ramon Ramos and John Morton. It's north to Alaska. The rush is on.
Welcome back, everybody. The George M. Sullivan Arena in Anchorage, Alaska, the 11th annual Great Alaska Shootout. And this, the first matchup of winners. Second day of the tournament, the Kentucky Wildcats, and they will take on Seton Hall. This is the winners bracketing. You see the first round winners, Kentucky, Seton Hall, playing this one. California, Kansas will be later on. Those two will match up against one another. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back as we join you again for day 2 of the shootout. Gary Thorne, Larry Conley, and Larry, a Seton Hall team that put on a pretty good show in its opener.
Gary, it's a good basketball team, and I think Kentucky's got their hands full against a very talented Seton Hall club. You know, all year long, you have the opportunity to listen to us analysts sit here and tell you what the keys to the victory are. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do this time. We're going to change it up a little. We're going to let the real experts, the assistant coaches who scout the other teams, tell you what they think about what they have to do to win today. John Carroll from Seton Hall, James Dickey from Kentucky.
And we need to obviously stop Ellis inside. He's a tremendous player and really hurt Iona yesterday. In addition to that, I think Sutton, their point guard, really controlled their team. He was very effective against Iona's zone. If we can put some pressure on the ball against him, stop Ellis inside, it's very important in stopping Kentucky. For the same extent, I think for us to run the floor, get down the floor, get the ball inside, and possibly get Kentucky in foul trouble would be a very important key for our game today.
Larry, I think there are 3 big keys in the basketball game this afternoon. One is to handle the half-court pressure of Seton Hall. Coach Carlissimo and his staff have done an excellent job with their half-court defense. So we're going to have to handle their pressure. 2, we have to do a good job on the defensive boards. We're going to start a big lineup this afternoon. Mike Scott and LaRon Ellis will be inside. We're going to have to do a good job on the boards. We can't allow Seton Hall to get second and third shots. The third thing we're going to have to do is contain dribblers. They're excellent at penetrating and kicking the ball out for 3-point shots.
Well, do the coaches agree with what we have to say? Well, yes, partially. Sean Sutton, the point guard for Kentucky, has to put a wrinkle in that press of Seton Hall's. They've got a great half-court defense, and Sutton's going to be responsible for breaking it. Also, they've got to shut down that 3-point land. Seton Hall was 9 of 15 in the opening win here in the Great Alaska Shootout. On the other side, you've got to look at Seton Hall. They had an awfully good basketball game here. Ramon Ramos on the inside must shadow Ellis. They've got to shut down the big center from Kentucky. And the other key to win for Seton Hall is the control game. And that control comes from Gerald Green, their point guard. He can really handle the basketball, Gary, and he's excellent at shooting. Very rare for a point guard.
He's going to make a real difference in this game if they're going to win. Kentucky had a 2-point win over Iona, an 18-point win over Utah for Seton Hall. Back with the starting lineups right after this.
My folks just left.
Thank you.
When a man
The Subaru Justy gets you anywhere you want to go, less expensively than any other 4-wheel drive car.
Mr. Potts, you're home.
Of course. What brings you out on a night like this, James?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
day, another hobby.
It's great. But we wanted a Bud Light.
Bud Light!
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Now go get pizza.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
ESPN is your ticket to the NFL when the Giants and Saints go head-to-head. The Giants' tailor-made defense looks to cut down the opposition after last week's unbelievable game. The Saints continue their march toward their first division title. The New York Giants and New Orleans Saints battle head-to-head on NFL Sunday Night Football at 8 Eastern, live on ESPN.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, the Great Alaska Shootout, is brought to you by Subaru. We build our reputation by building a better car. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
In the losers bracket game today, first game that was played, it was Utah with a 109-75 win over Iona, and this is your first winners bracket game with the Wildcats going against Seton Hall. Seton Hall beating Utah 86-68, while Kentucky had that 56-54 win over the Metro Atlantic Iona club. And the fans coming in here at Alaska Anchorage for this one as they get to see a couple of winners, and this should prove to be a very interesting game here. A lot of people think Seton Hall is going to run on this one, but Larry and I both have some doubts whether that's really going to happen. Dick Lobdell, the PA announcer, now for the starting lineups.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to game number 6, the 11th annual Great Alaska Shootout here at the Sullivan Arena, Anchorage, Alaska, America's natural choice for the 1998 Winter Olympics. Between the University of Kentucky Wildcats, the visitors, and the Pirates of Seton Hall University. Now let's meet our starting lineups for this afternoon's game. For Kentucky, at a forward, number 35, 6'7", 200-pound sophomore from Somerset, Kentucky, Reggie Hansen. For Seton Hall, number 10, 6'6", 200-pound junior from Melbourne, Australia, Andrew Gaze. At a forward for the Wildcats, 6'10", 235-pound sophomore from Tustin, California, LaRon Ellis. And for the Pirates, number 24, 6'8", 215-pound senior from New York, New York, Darrell Walker. The starting centers for Kentucky, number 50, 6'11", 230-pound senior from South Shore, Kentucky, Mike Scott. And for Seton Hall, number 25, 6'8", 250-pound senior from Canaveras, Puerto Rico, Ramon Ramos. For the Wildcats at guard, number 42, 6'7", 200-pound freshman from Los Angeles, California, Chris Mills. And for the Pirates, number 15, 6'1", 180-pound senior from Brooklyn, New York, Gerald Green. And for Kentucky at the other guard, number 20, 6'1", 175, sophomore from Lexington, Kentucky, Sean Sutton. For Seton Hall, number 23, 6'3", 175-pound senior from the Bronx, New York, John Morton. Head coach of the Wildcats is Eddie Sutton, and for the Pirates, P.J. Carlesimo.
There are the two coaches joining together. They are set to go, and we will be back for the tip-off. It's Kentucky and Seton Hall coming right up on the Great Alaska Shootout.
Did you hear that you can get a free automatic transmission with any new Chevy Cavalier?
Run that by me again.
Plus, you can save $700 on your favorite options.
$700. Run that by me again?
And with 25 wanted equipment items, a Cavalier 2-door is only $96.68. 4-door for only $98.68. That's $1,100 off list.
Free automatic transmission, over $700 in options. That's over $1,100 in savings. I'm glad you ran it by me, because I'm going to run it by me, a Chevy Cavalier.
At your New Jersey Chevy Go-Getter for a limited time only.
Fall is upon us once again, and with the change in season come the dreaded fall chores for some. But when you're finished, you can rest assured that Spirits Unlimited is there with your favorite spirits at the lowest prices. If you read Wednesday's Asbury Park Press or Ocean County Reporter, you know our weekly specials always feature something you like. So stop into one of the over 20 Spirits locations in Monmouth and Ocean counties before the game begins, or before the relatives arrive. While the leaves change color, Spirits Unlimited keeps you in the best of spirits.
As we get set for the tip-off, let's take a look at our game notes on this one from the Shootout Classic here. Some of the numbers for these two clubs. For Kentucky, there's the victory over Iona just by 2. It was a struggle. Ellis the big difference. Sutton, big 10 assists in that game.
I'll tell you something else, too, Gary, that helped them in that win. If we look at Seton Hall, defeated Utah 86-68 was the score of that game. Now at 86-88. Seton Hall played very well defensively, and I think the one thing I like about this Pirate club is the fact that they get after you so quickly. Green and Morton are excellent defenders, and they're also good scorers. Walker is the best inside scorer for them. On Kentucky's side, obviously, I think the key for them is Ellis and Mills. They've got to be able to do it, and also Sutton handling the basketball.
Now, this one ought to be a good one. We're set to go. Ramon Ramos, who is at center. He's 6'8" from Puerto Rico, taking the tap, which is going to be won immediately by Leron Ellis.
Seton Hall's got 3 kids from the streets of New York, and a guy from Puerto Rico, and a guy from Australia in their lineup.
Come from around, and there's the first turnover. Mills will pick it up. So Kentucky gets to come on the attack.
All right, big matchup here now. Sutton and Green. You got to watch Green. Good defender.
And Green will stay right on Sutton. He's not going to give him room. You see right there, he's playing Sutton all the way back to the midcourt stripe. He's right in his jersey. Ellis.
Gary, you may see a lot of that. Ellis coming out to relieve the pressure that Seton Hall puts on them. See how high he comes to get the ball?
He's going to have to, because they're going to force the ball back so deep. Scott making the start, the big 6'11" guys out deep.
In the initial game that we saw Kentucky play, they really were very patient on offense, running the clock to 40, almost 45 seconds a couple of times before they got a shot off.
They're just looking to see what Seton Hall is going to run against them here.
They're down to 4
defense.
seconds.
The 4 seconds on the shot clock, inside to Hansen, and he got it in on the last second.
They did it again.
Good patience. Reggie Hansen gets the first 2. Kentucky goes up. Now Will Seal Green will control the ball outside. Walker working it around. The long 3-point attempt is no good. And it will be Ellis coming down with a rebound. Ellis had just 2 rebounds in their first game here in this Great Alaska Shootout.
I think that's why they started a bigger lineup. Mike Scott's in the lineup with Ellis this time, and that hasn't happened in the 2 previous games they played, but they need some rebounding strength on the inside.
See Sutton wearing those specially made glasses, number 24 Kentucky. He got back into play after that broken cheekbone had kept him out for a while. They weren't sure he was going to play here in the Classic. But he was able to get back in the Great Alaska Shootout, and they're mighty happy to have him. Even though he did not score from the floor, he is their playmaker.
Almost looks as if Kentucky's in a delay game. They're
already
just taking the basketball and just backing it out. They're going to take a lot of time. The shot clock down to 9.
They're weeding it off. Hansen, Mills, looking underneath. There's Scott. 3 seconds of the shot clock. They're running out of time. They're not going to get it off. Ball was stolen. Is it in play? Yes, it is. Almost a backcourt. Morton's going in. Hansen on him. Morton missed the easy layup. Gaze with a tap. Missed it. It'll count. That's going to be touched up a little too high in goaltending.
I'm not sure that ball shouldn't have been given to Seton Hall on the side. I thought maybe the time had expired and Kentucky still had possession. You're going to see the miss right here by Morton on the right side. Now watch the follow by Gaze on the other side, and Ellis will commit the goaltending play right here at the end. I think that ball was coming off. He should have let it come off and just grabbed the rebound.
They called it because he was up over the rim, but I'm not sure the ball was over the rim. It was actually coming down at an angle that would have taken it away. 2-2 game. And this one being at a very deliberate pace on the start. Leron Ellis looking underneath, and there's the cut, and there's a push-off by Mills. Chris Mills, the freshman, pushing off. He had 14 points, 5 rebounds in their opening win against Iona.
Chris Mills probably is their second best offensive player. And obviously to counteract that, Seton Hall has put their best defender, John Morton. It's like a flailing octopus. He's got arms everywhere. He just comes at you in every direction.
You wouldn't want somebody like that guard. Yeah, there's Gaze, but there's a travel by Morton before he got the pass out. Well, that's interesting because Morton last season had a lot of trouble turning the basketball over, and they have taken him out of that position, putting Green up front at the top of the key in order to avoid that.
Look at Eddie Sutton on the bench right there, flanked by his assistants, Dwayne Casey and James Dickey. Certainly interesting what we did with the coaches at the opening of the show, those scouting reports. I thought they really gave you some good pertinent points about what they were going to try to do today.
And it really tells you what they're thinking, because that's what they're going through in the locker room of the club before the game. Sutton looking. Scott got her behind the defender. Banks it. Mike Scott.
Seton Hall really pushing the ball up the court. You know, Iona had some success against Kentucky pushing the ball up the court.
That may be a walk. No, Mills was reaching in. That's going to be his second personal foul. He's got a quick 2. Chris Mills, their highly touted freshman from Los Angeles, not happy with that second foul.
Pretty good player right there from Los Angeles, California. Crenshaw High School. I tell you what, he's also one of the better freshmen around the country. When he came out of high school, I'd say he's probably one of the top 5, maybe top 10 players coming out last year.
And he's getting a starting assignment for the Kentucky Wildcats. Ramos will go to the line. Ramon Ramos. Boy, what size. There you see P.J. Carlesimo looking out. Seton Hall coach. 6'8", 250.
Kind of an interesting alignment, Gary, on the free throw line. Usually, somebody will go back defensively for Seton Hall. A couple of guys back. They've got all 4 guys right up there on the free throw line, and Kentucky's got all 5 of there. So you got 10 guys all around the free throw line. Very rare.
Hardly ever see that. Ramos gets them both. And that ties this ball game up at 4-4. Ramos picked up 12 points in the first win for Seton Hall over Utah. They'll look for him underneath, and here's pressure put on by Seton Hall. Sutton. Seton Hall will drop off once the ball's in play.
Looks like the pressure is just on the out of bounds, and once it comes inside, they just back away.
Going back to midcourt. Ellis, leader on foul line. Ramos tapped it, kept it alive. Seton Hall wanting to run now, trying to open it up a little bit. Green, 2.
I talked about his ability to score. When you've got a point guard that can handle the basketball as well as Gerald Green can, and also throw scoring in on top of it, you've got you a great player. And Gerald Green is going to make this Seton Hall Pirate Club tough to beat this year.
And he comes right back on defense on Sutton. This is Mills. Outside to Leron Ellis. Sutton looking underneath. Ellis. Nice touch.
Well, what a nice pass that was, too. They got it in the right position for him to catch it, and it made the shot a lot easier for him.
Ties it up 6-6 and a travel violation. Another turnover. Seton Hall's committed 3 now. That's their 3rd turnover of the game. Sutton will be taking it out in backcourt. Reggie Hansen with him, gives it right back.
Seton Hall hasn't deviated from that man-to-man defense they opened the game with. Green is still putting the pressure on Sutton. Kentucky having a little bit more success getting the ball to the wings right now. Morton with not very much pressure on Mills. Now he has.
Ramos tipped it away. He allowed the steal to take place. Morton will bring it in. Morton on Ellis. On Mills, rather, and he's got it. Mills with the 2 fouls had to back off. Didn't want to pick up the 3rd. 8-6. Seton Hall up by 2. And Kentucky again. Not trying to run here. Slowing it down. Green comes out and picks up Sutton. Mills.
Good fake.
Morton went up. Mills got it.
We've had a couple of bank shots. Scott hit one earlier on the right side. That time Mills got it on the left side. He really got Morton up in the air, and that made the play.
All tied here at 8-8. Seton Hall with a basketball 3-pointer. Morton, own rebound. Oh, Mills did not block him out.
Oh, Eddie Sutton is really upset. He yelled at Mills for not blocking out Morton, who went right to the basket, got his own shot, and stuck it back in. That is a no-no. That is a cardinal sin.
Especially when you take that shot from 3-point range and still get in the lane.
You know, Gary, Seton Hall was 9 of 15 in their game here the other day, and that win over Utah from 3-point range, and they continue to try to throw it up from out there.
Sutton's pass underneath, hit by Ramos. Ellis controls it. Mills cutting underneath. Sutton. Mills. Ellis. Scott underneath, asking for the basketball. There he is. He's working Walker. Sutton. Green, good D. 5 on the shot clock. Ellis missed it all. Good D by Seton Hall, and here's Green. He's running it at both ends. Up and down.
And 3.
No, Hayes did not get that one.
They're not having the success with that 3-point shooting that they had in an initial win over Utah.
Mills. And he's got it for 2.
That might open it up for Chris Mills a little bit. He had a rocky start in the beginning of this game here. That one may turn him around a little bit.
4 points. Ramos missed it. Tipped away and controlled by Hansen. Kentucky right back on the run. Ellis. Oh, look at the sky block right there by John Morton. Puts him at
tell you, that's a 6'3" guy rejecting a 6'11" center shot on a layup. John Morton everywhere and all over the ball. Yes.
Almost hit his head on the backboard going by. We'll be right back, tied at 10.
They're both surprised.
And I don't want anyone driving my XT while I'm away. You understand?
The Subaru XT6 has a powerful 6-cylinder engine, computerized full-time 4-wheel drive, and a design which makes it hard to resist.
Somebody drove my car. Who was it?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
Xerox presents the Great American Torture Test, Alaska. Death Valley. City traffic. Coast to coast to prove under the most extreme conditions you can't buy a better antifreeze coolant than Xerox. No matter where you drive.
Have you ever seen those commercials where one battery outlasts the rest? We'd just like you to know Energizer batteries were never invited to their playoffs. A word to the wise, Energize.
Pitney Bowes now offers a complete line of copiers. If you'd like one, just fax us a purchase order. You don't have a fax machine? We have them too. Just send us a purchase order through your mailing machine. You don't have a mailing machine?
As an all-athletic contest, you have to execute the small things, the fundamentals. Look at the pass that Sutton gave Ellis, which made the shot so much easier for him to get. And look at the other end. How about blocking out after a missed shot? Chris Mills didn't. John Morton took advantage of him.
Really got in by him. Kentucky's off to a hot start from the floor. They're 5 for 8. In field goal percentage here, that's 62%. Seton Hall 4 for 9. Kentucky did not have a good game from the floor in their first win. They shot just 38%, which is very low for a Kentucky ball club. We've got a whistle underneath. And we are going to get a Seton Hall foul. P.J. Carlesimo not happy because John Morton picks it up.
John Peltner tried to make a move across the top up there, going toward the top of the circle to get the ball to Ellis, and Morton just reached out and grabbed him. P.J. Carlesimo, maybe one of the funniest guys I've ever known in college basketball. Well, he was funny at the banquet the other night.
What a dry sense of humor.
Great sense of humor.
He's a stand-up comedian when he wants to be.
He needs some bookings.
Yeah,
get him some bookings.
He's no stand-up comedian on that bench, I'll tell you. He runs a good show, good club. Ellis forcing it. Hansen. Ellis. Got the second one.
Boy, that's good offensive board work that time, Gary. That was something they did not have in that first game in the win over Iona. They were out-rebounded 46-28, and today they're doing a much better job on the offensive glass.
Kentucky up by 2. Morton puts the fake. Got foul going up.
You know, John Morton does a lot of that. In the first game win that they had here, I noticed how many times he drove down the middle of the lane and drew fouls. He gets the ball, puts it up there, and he looks very awkward when he goes down in there. He doesn't look like he's a polished player. And that time, he looked like he was going to stumble and fall, and he drew the foul, and he's going to go to the line for 2.
Not a very big guy. He's 6'3", 175 pounds. Not a lot of weight on him there, so he relies on some quickness to get it in.
PJ makes my all-beard team. Got a great beard.
Boy, he got that trimmed, doesn't he? Classy-looking guy. Morton, there you see the numbers he had against Utah. He's got 4 points here, and it'll stay there as he misses the first. 12-10, Kentucky on top by 2 with 13:07 to go. Morton in the first half here, and he makes 1 out of 2.
And here comes the pressure again. Now watch Seton Hall pick up. They're going to put real pressure right now until the ball comes in, and then they'll back off. At least they have so far. Great pressure.
Tough to get it in. They do to Ellis.
All right, now they'll back off.
Hansen will pick it up. Sutton will bring it up court. Dumped in Scott. And a foul by Scott. He missed the shot, then reached in on the rebound. And that'll cost him the personal. And his head coach not real happy, is calling him right over to the bench. First foul. Carlesimo coaching up and down in front of his bench there. Seton Hall will regain possession. Gerald Green, Brooklyn native. 3. Yeah, he got it.
Gerald Green.
He's got 5.
They start heating up from that three-point range, they'll be deadly.
Carlesimo says that's the biggest change in his club from last year. They did not have outside shooting last season, and they've got it this season. He wanted to travel there. Carlesimo did. He will not get it. 14-12. Seton Hall on top. There's Scott again. Again, he took the pass behind the defender.
You know the difference there, Gary, between that shot and the one earlier? The one he took earlier was not his shot. That's his shot, a little turnaround jumper.
What a block by Hansen on Gaze. And it will be controlled by Reggie Hansen. Tremendous block on the Australian Gaze cutting through. 14-14. Pelfrey has come into the game off the bench. He started the other night. Ellis alley-oop. No. Volsey gets the rebound.
He got it back. He stole it.
He's all by himself looking for help. Sutton's there. Ellis. And there's a travel or a foul. Travel. Wild scramble right there as Ellis came up with the ball twice. And we will get a timeout. 11:49 remaining here in the first half. This one's all tied up. 14-14.
Day after day, more people depend on Subaru wagons than any imported wagon in America. And with good reason. They're reliable and durable. In fact, if Subaru didn't make your life easier...
Honey, is dinner ready?
Who would?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
Announcing a dramatic breakthrough in shaving technology. The new Remington Microscreen Ultimate shaves as close as a blade and closer than any other electric shaver, or your money back. The Ultimate's exclusive beard lifter gets whiskers other shavers leave behind. And like all Remington Microscreen shavers, the first screen shaves incredibly close, the second even closer. Try the new Remington Ultimate now. It will shave you as close as a blade and closer than any other electric shaver, or your money back.
All right, stand by. Replay on slow-mo A, roll A, and dissolve A. Good. Roll C, wipe C. Let's get whiting out on camera 8 over there. Nod so I know you're there, somebody. Ready, D. Get back to the coach on that. Okay, let's go to camera 5, please. Whiten out. Ready, camera 8, take 8. I didn't know your family was in town. Go to camera 2. Nice work, people. Very nice work.
For the teamwork, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser.
So what are you going to do tonight? Probably watch TV.
This is game 2 of the Great Alaska Shootout. The other games being played today already this morning. Utah beat Iona in the losers bracket, 109-75. Florida, Alaska, another losers bracket game. Cal will be playing Kansas. California beat Florida, while Kansas over Alaska Anchorage, the host team. That will be the winner's bracket. The winner of this game will be playing the winner of the California-Kansas game.
Played about 9.5 minutes of basketball, and neither club is relenting. They're staying with their man-to-man defense. Good fake by Ramos. He traveled.
He goes, oh, no. The answer is yes, and he'll go the other end. Not happy with it, 14-14. Ramos, the big man down underneath, has had the ball a couple of times, but not getting the shots he wants. Out of bounds, Mills.
Stepped on the line.
And his foot on the line, picked up. Dave Dodge, ACC ref, Bob Stuvik from Alaska, and Steve Wilson from the Pac-10 working this game.
Gary, that points up something to me. That means Seton Hall's driving that defense out and forcing Kentucky to move outside. Great pass.
Where did Volsey come from? Bounce pass. He came right down the middle. Volsey gets the 2. 16-14, Seton Hall. He just came out of nowhere on that bounce pass. We've had 7 lead changes in this game. 6 times it's been tied already. Sutton had it knocked away by Green. Volsey's got it. Good play. Green created that by knocking the ball away on the drive. There's Ramos. He's got it, and he's fouled. And Sutton's outraged about it.
Count the goal. Big play right there. Big turnaround. Look at the bounce pass by Green. Good catch on the inside there by Ramos. That's the way you run it.
Ramon Ramos took it in, and Sutton thought it should have been a charge. And a timeout will be taken right here by the Wildcats as Sutton, his son, stays out to talk about it with the referee. Not happy with the call. It gives an 18-14 lead to Seton Hall.
Did you hear that you can get a free automatic transmission with any new Chevy Cavalier?
Run that by me again.
Plus, you can save $700 on your favorite options.
$700. Run that by me again.
And with 25 wanted equipment items, a Cavalier 2-door is only $96.68. 4-door for only $98.68. That's $1,100 off list.
Free automatic transmission, over $700 in options. That's over $1,100 in savings. I'm glad you ran it by me, because I'm going to run it by me a Chevy Cavalier.
At your New Jersey Chevy Go-Getter for a limited time only.
Fall is upon us once again, and with a change in season come the dreaded fall chores for some. But when you're finished, you can rest assured that Spirits Unlimited is there with your favorite spirits at the lowest prices. If you read Wednesday's Asbury Park Press or Ocean County Reporter, you know our weekly specials always feature something you like. So stop in to one of the over 20 Spirits locations in Monmouth and Ocean counties before the game begins, or before the relatives arrive. While the leaves change colors, Spirits Unlimited keeps you in the best of spirits.
You'll find it at the heart of every truck we build. It's on the street and off the road. It's the new spirit of performance.
The top new spirit of Dodge.
Ramon Ramos will have a chance for the three-point play. During that timeout, Kentucky coach Eddie Sutton sent Reggie Hansen out to talk with the referee after his son, Sean Sutton, had talked to him before leaving the floor, as they were not happy about the call that was made. Scorer's table now, they're just checking on the clock here. The new rule this season on that buzzer, the horn that has to be sounded before the ball's brought into play, I think is what they're talking about, because the referees did not get one that time.
Gary, it's basically 15 seconds before the teams have to return to the floor.
The teams
they
came
get
out,
they get two horns. 15 seconds before and then the second one.
They came out so early that they didn't bother to blow the horn on that first time around, so that's what they were checking on. Ramon Ramos. Not going to get the three-point. And Hansen will come away with a rebound. Seton Hall has picked up 8 of the last 10 points in this game. Part of that because of their defense like that right there. Ball knocked away. Sutton hit it. Goes out of bounds. Who got it last? It will be Seton Hall's ball as Sutton knocked it out. Again, Eddie Sutton up, complaining about it.
I think he wanted to foul against Ellis down here on that post play inside. Ramos knocked the ball away, got it to Green. I think he wanted to foul on Ramos.
He did. There's Green with the basketball, guarded by Sutton. That's a three-point effort. Morton. Good play underneath by Cooper. Michael Cooper coming in off the bench. The junior puts it in, and it's 20-14, a 6-point lead now for Seton Hall.
So one thing you got to guard against when you're inside, that short shot that hits that rim and comes off real quick. You don't get your hands up real quickly and get it back. I'll tell you what, you'll just miss it. Cooper was there and ready to grab it.
Defenseman turning the wrong way. It comes down so fast. They never get the turn around on it. Hansen looking for someone underneath Sutton. Mills working with 2 fouls. Morton. But it's a travel first. Mills has not had a good first 10 minutes of this game. A little tough on him. Picked up 2 quick fouls.
A little bit of pressure too, Gary. Pressure's a little bit greater today than it was in the game yesterday.
And remember, he is a freshman. Ramon Ramos playing it in. 6'1" guard, Gerald Green bringing it up.
Now they bring out, look at Ellis out top. They've got Ramos running outside, so they take Ellis away from inside. Now he goes back inside.
Ramos, trouble with it, double team. Green, he won't hesitate to shoot back to Ramos, but he turned away. Ramos was looking for the rebound and not the pass.
You know what? I looked over at P.J. Carlissimo right after that play and went out of bounds, and he pointed to himself and said, "My fault. That was my fault." You know what they were trying to do? They were trying to go to Ramos inside, and Green got the instruction and said, "Get it in there. We want to get a foul on Ellis."
And he did what he was supposed to do.
Exactly. He followed his instructions, and it didn't work.
Passed up a shot. Mills. He's got it. And wait. Underneath. Before or after. Gaze is going to be called on the foul. Gaze picks up the foul. Let's check and see whether or not the basket counts. Yes, it does. There you see the Australian. Andrew Gaze.
Did a nice visit with his dad, I understand.
Very nice. His dad, who's one of the big runners of basketball in Australia, has been involved in it virtually all of his life. Coaches the national team there and coached his son on the Olympic teams. Mills again. He's got it. That's 8 points now for Mills. 20-18. Seton Hall's lead is cut to 2. Ramos Everybody on him. Good block.
There were 3 hands up there to block that ball.
Hansen was one who got a piece of it. Pelfrey working outside and underneath. Volsey's going to be charged. And now Carlesimo's unhappy with the way the calls are going. Here, the Great Alaska Shootout at the George M. Sullivan Arena, Anchorage, Alaska. This is day 2, and this is the first game of the winners bracket teams. Kentucky, Seton Hall. And you can see this one has been a close one, and some people thought Seton Hall might run a little on Kentucky as far as the score is concerned. I don't think so.
Here's a bang-up basketball game. Ellis is open baseline, a little fake, takes it up.
Missed it off the top. Hansen, good job on the boards underneath. Pelfrey will set it up. Down to 8:54 remaining here in the first half. Mills touching the basketball a lot. Ellis. Mills. Scott. Mills is hot. 2-pointer. Boy, is he hot. 10 points for him.
He's got 10 of the 20.
Made the last 6 here.
That's a walk.
There's a
That's
travel.
a walk. Yeah, had to be.
Anthony Avent. He's off the bench. And now the big Mo is turned in this game as Kentucky. Eddie Sutton's club has picked up the momentum here, getting this thing back to 20-20 after trailing by 6. Each team with 8 turnovers.
This is something you and I talked about today, that if Ellis didn't have a good basketball game, I thought Chris Mills would be the one guy that would have to pick it up and carry it for them, and so far in the first half, he's done it.
He's been the difference here in this first half so far. Mills is 5 for 5 now from the floor. Hot. Ellis. Ellis' own rebound. Bad play by Volsey. Volsey stood and watched Ellis.
Tell you, Volsey took a page out of the book that was on the other end down there when Morton got his.
Walker back in the ball game. One of the starters, Morton. 22-20 Kentucky. Here's 3 for Gaze. Wouldn't go down. Scott rebounding.
He ought to get 1 point just because it stayed down about 6 seconds.
One if it goes halfway. Mills. They go high to Ellis. Looking underneath Scott. There's Mills. 3-point range. Didn't hit anything. Gaze. Just catching that one out of the air. Green. Forcing it up Morton.
Nice move.
Alone.
Nice move.
Good back. Hansen came back along with Ellis. Good play as they regrouped on defense.
You know, they broke down. They really did. Morton made the move, and everybody did just kind of break down. Then all of a sudden, they came right back together again when he started to make that shot. Then Morton lost the ball out of bounds, and it goes to the Big Blue of Kentucky.
Outstanding regrouping by Kentucky on defense. And Kentucky will get the basketball, and they have a 22-20 lead. Pelfrey working outside now. Sutton works out there when he's in the ball game. He's not right now, so Pelfrey will be the ball handler. Hansen looking. Ellis. Walker. Pelfrey. Get around. Almost broke that one, and Ellis goes down. He's all right. Basket counts. He got fouled.
Boy, what a great pass by Pelfrey. He led it away from the defense, and right in the right spot, Ellis grabbed it and just wheeled like a big horse and went to the basket. Look at the grab right there. You see Ramos grab him as he went by. Great pass and a good play by Ellis.
Boy, he almost pulled the whole thing down on that one. 24-20, Kentucky.
You can ride with the wind when you're one with the road. You can feel every move. You're in control. It's the new spirit. Gotta be the spirit of Dodge. It's the new spirit. The new spirit of Dodge. The new spirit of Dodge.
There's only one place you'll find the cordless Rotomatic shaver with 3 automatic adjustable floating heads for just $24.99. Only one place, and at this price. Now, only at Sears.
Makes me feel so good. Make me feel so good.
The original, the shower massage by Teledyne Waterpick.
Hey, Sluggo, what's happening?
I'm out of here, Dad, and I'm going as far as this $3 and
42 cents will take me.
Northwest has some of the lowest fares around, but not that low. While other airlines have prohibited smoking on flights under 2 hours, Northwest is the only U.S. airline to make every flight in North America smoke-free.
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Northwest, Northwest!
Kentucky going up by 4 here in the rebounds, helping them out now. They're out rebounding Seton Hall 12-7, including 5 offensive rebounds here in this first half. Still shooting well, 12 for 21 from the floor for Kentucky, 8 for 17 for Seton Hall. Leron Ellis, chance for the three-pointer. Gaze comes down with the rebound.
Well, Gary, I'll tell you, this game has turned completely around for Kentucky. They were down by 6, now they're up by 4, so they've outscored Seton Hall 10-0.
Interesting how they've made the run. 8 points in a row for them. Ramos forcing it in. Mills, 3 fouls.
Mills or
Mills. Ellis asking. And let's see who they give it to. Scott's going to come back in for Kentucky. Mills.
It's going against Ellis.
Going against Ellis, so Mills will not get his third.
Well,
Ellis wanted to take that one.
That would have been a big one.
Ellis is going to come out and take a break right here. Goes to the bench. Eddie Sutton making the changes with 6:49 remaining to go in the first half.
I'll say this. I don't know of a basketball coach in the last 6 months, or for that fact, in the last 20 years, who's gone through what he's had to go through in the last 6 months.
And not over yet.
Not over yet.
Investigation NCAA goes on.
And
Ramos
Kentucky has to answer those charges on December the 12th.
Eric Manuel, someone they hope to have with them, sitting out voluntarily here by decision, waiting on a decision whether or not his entrance exam was improperly tampered with. Ramos makes them both. 24-22. Seton Hall had some trouble scoring points in 4 minutes without putting anything up on the board.
Well, Green, good pressure that time on Sutton. Good backdoor cut. Miller missed it.
Hard collision. No foul. Good save then. Hansen got it. Nice save.
That was Feldhouse. Feldhouse came up with that ball.
And there's a foul outside on Ramos. Feldhouse diving out of bounds under the table. DJ Carlesimo a bit concerned as Ramos picks up the personal foul. That's his first.
Was a good save by Feldhouse to get the ball back in.
Lost him under the table. He went underneath the scorer's table down to our left.
It's only the 15th foul so far for Seton Hall. Kentucky has 6, so in the next one for Kentucky, Seton Hall will shoot the bonus.
Kentucky gets the basketball. They have the 2-point lead. Sutton back in. Sean Sutton, the playmaker. There's Fieldhouse who made that good play. Sutton, Hansen, underneath Scott. Back out Sutton, Hansen. Scott guarded by Ramos. 2 points. Missed everything. Gaze with a rebound. Morton loves to rush it up. Forcing it in. He's going to draw the foul on Hansen. Reggie Hansen fouling him on the fourth shot by John Morton. His second on Hansen.
Gary, you know what happened that time? I'm not sure who it was, but it was a Seton Hall player coming in behind Morton. Kind of pushed him forward into Hansen. And it caused Hansen to kind of back away, but he hit him as he went by. So it was really an assist from one of his teammates to force Morton to go to the line.
He's 1 for 2 from the line with 5 points in the game. His club trailing by 2. Chance to tie it.
You and I talked about the fact that we thought this would be a close ball game, and obviously it is. Right now, it's just 1 point away from being tied.
No more. All tied up. As he gets both ends of that one. 6:08 remaining here in the first half. Good pressure and great pressure. Turned over by Kentucky. Sutton hollering out to Scott. They wanted Scott to be moving, and he didn't, and Sutton's really unhappy with it.
That's the first time today Seton Hall's been able to work that pressure to their advantage and get that 5-second call. They've got great quickness on this club.
Each team with 9 turnovers now. Green looking underneath. Ramos got around Scott.
And another good pass by Green. He got it away from Scott, the defender in there, passed it to the right side, and he just wheeled and went to the basket.
Lead changes again. 26-24 now. Seton Hall on top by 2.
Seton Hall on a 6-0 run.
Miller. Yeah, he gets the 2. Ties it up. First 2 points for Miller. Gaze. Back out to Morton. And now they're going to slow it down. Seton Hall will take it back a little bit. There's Walker. Gaze, 3-point shooter. Feldhouse with a rebound.
Gay's not playing his kind of game in the first half. Better ball player than what we've seen so far out of him there. Derek Miller of Kentucky working on Morton. Scott. Sutton. Miller looking underneath. Scott can't get around Ramos. Now does. Bad shot. Scott's going to come out in a minute. Boy, he's had 3 bad plays here in a row.
Good break by Seton Hall. That's the way you do it.
Green.
You miss the shot, you get it the other end and push it up the floor.
Gerald Green now has 7 points. Seton Hall leading it by 2, 28-26. Sutton guarded by Green. Derek Miller to Hansen. Feldhaus. Kentucky trying to get the ball down low. People cutting through the lane. Hansen back over to Sutton. Back outside, Miller. Pretty good move. Threw it away to Green. Green's got Sutton in front of him. He has Morton with him. Takes it himself. Missed it. Morton knocked it out of bounds. Kentucky basketball. Ellis and Mills coming in.
Yeah, Ellis and Mills. They need them back in the lineup right now.
Feldhaus and Scott going out.
You know, when they've got Feldhaus in there and Scott, they've got 2 guys that are really not very proficient shooters. With Ellis in there and with Mills, it makes them a lot different club. They've got 3 guys in there, actually 4 guys. Miller can shoot 2.
There's Leron Ellis getting the basketball down low right away. Hansen. Ellis got position over Ramos. And a whistle as he put it down and walked. 11 turnovers for Kentucky.
They're getting back into that Duke syndrome where they had 29 turnovers. They're building toward that right now. A lot of that's being caused by this Seton Hall defense, too. They're doing a good job of switching, helping on the inside.
Kentucky lost to Duke in their opener, 80-55. Tip-off classic. Morton, 3. Hansen knocked the ball away to Sutton.
There's the controlled fast break. Ellis is open. Somebody grabbed him on the arm. I think it was Morton.
A whistle on it, going down to the floor hard. Seton Hall's Darrell Walker. A real collision right there. Ellis and Walker, who were both moving as Ellis was going down the lane. And Ellis will go to the line.
You know, we haven't heard a whole lot today from Walker.
No.
Robert Walker was really one of the stars in that opening game.
Not heard much from him at all. Walker had 14 points, 7 rebounds in that first one. Ellis gets it. 9 points now for Leron Ellis. And he makes them both.
A nice shot. Go for a big guy. He's got a real nice touch.
His fingertip touch. 28-28. These 2 clubs.
Well, Green really directing traffic out there. So far, Sutton's done a pretty good job of holding him down.
There's Walker right there. Teams have tied 10 times alone here in the first half. 3:30 remaining to go in it. Morton, Gaze, played on the Australian National Olympic team.
They want it inside.
Yeah, Ramos. I think he may have moved. We got a pushing off foul on Ramos. Ramos call for putting that arm down and shoving.
Ramos not having a very good first half for Seton Hall here, and it really has hurt them because there was an opportunity to get a basket. Obviously, P.J. Carlissimo, well, you heard John Carroll in the opening of the show. They said they wanted to take the basketball inside, create fouls. That's what they've tried to do, to try to get Ellis over on that bench with some fouls. So far, Ramos has not been very effective in trying to get Ellis on the bench. He's on the bench instead.
Ramos has got 3 personal fouls on him now. Here's the alley-oop play to Ellis, and out front we've got a blocking foul. And this one's going to be called on Kentucky. And that is going to be on Derek Miller.
Shoot the 1-and-1.
It's getting a little rough away from the basketball here. A lot of picks being sent up and a lot of guys going down on the hardwood. We will have the 1-and-1. Seton Hall will gather at the line before they take the free throws here with 3:11 left to go. 28-28.
This game's kind of been an ebb and a flow like the tides. You know, one team will make a run and then the other team will back off and then they'll back off and the other team will make a run. Right now, Seton Hall's made the latest run.
Exactly the way this game has gone. Volsey's picked up a couple of points. 3 now. And he'll get a chance for another. Franz Volsey, 6'8" junior, comes from East Orange, New Jersey, right around the corner from the campus of Seton Hall. And he's got another. And Seton Hall's up now 30-28. Allow Kentucky to make the change as Walker will come out of the game. Pelfrey will come back in. And Seton Hall again goes to the pressure.
They got a turnover on the 5-second count a few seconds ago. Ellis came and met the ball that time. Terry, that's the most important thing. If there's one lesson I could tell youngsters about accepting a pass, go meet your pass. Don't wait for the ball to come to you. Go get the ball as it's coming towards you. That way you eliminate the possibility of a defender stepping in and intercepting it.
And we'll draw some fouls if you do that.
Absolutely.
2 minutes, 49 seconds. Set play being called by Pelfrey. We're in the first half here, 30-28. Pelfrey, Kentucky down by 2. Hansen looking great move.
Over the head. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ellis put a show on that one. Ties it up at 30. Green, Volsey, partially blocked. Yes or no? No. It'll be Kentucky basketball.
I think it was a pass. And what happened on the inside, it looked like Hansen had his man screened off, and nobody could get to the ball.
Kentucky's responded well here in this game, seems to me. Larry, every time they've had a run made by Seton Hall, they come right back at them.
Again, Ellis out top. It really opened up that middle. When he comes out of there, that middle is wide open for somebody to make a cut down there.
There he is, way out at the top of the key. Hansen. Kentucky really spreading it out here.
It looks like they're back in their delay game
Ellis
again.
Got hit by Green. That's Green's first foul, and not a good one. Will create the 1-and-1.
Somebody needs to tell Gerald Green that when you're 6'1", you can't reach up and grab the ball away from a guy who's 6'10".
When he's doing what he's supposed to do, holding it over his head. So Gerald Green charged with a foul. Ellis with 12 points now. Goes to the line where he's 2 for 3. 1-and-1. And that puts the Kentucky Wildcats back up 31-30.
Well, in the first half, you got to say the offensive momentum right now is being carried by Ellis and Mills. Both of them having excellent first halves.
14 points now for Ellis. 2-point lead for Kentucky.
Hey, something else they've done, too. They've cut down their turnovers. The last 5 to 6 minutes, they've not given the ball back to Seton Hall.
There's Gaze.
Will they go back inside?
Katsikas in the game. Outside now at the top over to Green. Minute 48 to go, and another turnover.
Good grab that time by Reggie Hansen. That was an excellent defensive play. Gerald Green tried to make the bounce pass on the cut by Morton. No, it was Walker that was going to make the cut.
12 turnover.
Ball.
Seton Hall coughing it up here, and they're down by 2. Mills back in the game. Hansen created the turnover. They've got Sutton playing back near midcourt right there where he's taking the pass.
I'll tell you what, the Wildcats are in no hurry to do anything right now. They're going to sit on this basketball for a while.
Minute 18 to go here in the half. 15 on the shot clock. Mills, Pelfrey, Hansen.
Down to 7.
7 on the shot clock. 5. They're looking up at it. Ellis didn't get it. So they did not make it work. 1 minute left to go in the half. Seton Hall trying to get it tied up. They're trailing by 2. Green. Gaze. Gaze runs it by Mills. Rebound Walker. Lost it. Went off a Kentucky foot. And it'll be controlled by Seton Hall under their own backboard.
Well, there's a 4-second differential right now for Seton Hall. They could hold the basketball, get one up with about 40 seconds left in the first half and still have a chance at a rebound. Let's see what they do with it from a strategy standpoint.
Gaze will play it in. Sutton almost got a hand on that. Green. Katsikas for 3.
No waiting around for him. Forget the time.
He didn't even look at the clock once. Katsikas, Nick Katsikas, coming off the bench for 3. Putting Seton Hall up by 1. Now Kentucky will play for the last shot with 33 seconds to go in the half. Shot clock not in effect. Pelfrey, Mills, and just going to hold it outside. Sutton.
I say they go to Ellis inside.
Hansen, 20 seconds left.
Put the ball in Mills' hands, possibly for his outside shot, or Ellis will get it inside.
There's
Let's
Ellis.
see if they try the alley-oop again.
Mills, 11 seconds. Sutton behind the back. Almost lost it. 6 seconds. And it went off Hansen. They do not convert, and with 5 seconds left, Seton Hall's got a chance to get another. Sutton wants the team pressing here. They don't see it and back off. 5 seconds. Green. He takes it. He got it. And he got fouled. And the basket counts. And it's on Mills.
Mills gets his third personal foul with 1 second left in the half.
What a big play for Seton Hall. Gerald Green grabbed it, and no one from Kentucky contested him until he got within 15 feet of the basket. And when he did, Mills reached out and grabbed him. Watch the move right here. Oh, he just got him on the leg. I think that's a bad call. He just a little touch foul on the leg. I'm not sure about that one. He didn't even hit his arm or any part of his upper body. He just reached by and slapped him on the thigh.
And it ends up being a three-point play.
Well, what a big play for Seton Hall.
1 second, Mills will throw it. He got it off in time, and he missed it high. A disappointing end to that half for Kentucky. They were rolling. That one big play makes it a 36-32 lead for Seton Hall. Our first intermission coming up. We'll be back to Anchorage, Alaska, in our Great Alaska Shootout.
All right, Gary and Larry, but not before we cover some ground. I'm Tim Brando back in our college basketball/football studios, and we've got plenty of highlights of some major games in college football today, including the latest on the showdown in California between SC and Notre Dame. That and a lot more on the way here at halftime. Right now, BJ Carlissimo's team has the lead.
It only comes out at night, when the air turns cool and emotions run hot. On the prowl, with a lean and hungry look, and fuel-injected V6 power. A one-of-a-kind, mid-sized Dodge Dakota 4x4. A wolf in wolf's clothing.
Airboat. I like the sound of that.
The new Remington Electroblade vibrating blade system has been an amazing success for those who prefer shaving with a blade. Electroblade's high-speed motor and vibrating twin blades glide so easily, you'll get the closest, smoothest, most comfortable blade shave you've ever imagined. If you don't, I'll give you your money back. Safe, immersible, and cordless. The new Remington Electroblade vibrating blade system. A blade shave like you've never imagined, or your money back.
The next stop on ESPN's World Tour 88, sponsored by Thrifty Car Rental, is Hawaii for the NFL Pro Bowl. If you're a winner, we'll take you and a guest to Honolulu for an all-expense-paid week of sun and fun, including tickets to the Pro Bowl. For details on how to enter, call 1-800-525-ESP.
By the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. By the financial professionals at Payne Weber. And by Amana, makers of fine quality products for the home. When you know exactly what you want, Amana.
Tell you what, I like Peter, Paul, and Mary. I like their stuff.
Oh, I love the folk music stuff.
Yeah.
We are back here as both clubs back out on the floor. Great Alaska Shootout. This is the first matchup of winners here in the tournament, and right now Seton Hall's on top by 4 over the Wildcats of Kentucky. Larry, Mr. Mills, we haven't heard a whole lot from in this game with foul situation.
Well, he's got 3 fouls, but he's a pretty good shooter, as indicated right here. You see the shot from the outside. You know, and when you look at that shot, we had an indication early on because we talked with John Carroll about how do you guard Chris Mills, and he's the assistant at Seton Hall.
Well, I don't know if there's any way to guard Chris. He's an excellent player. I thought yesterday he really took the game over late, and I thought he maybe won the game single-handedly in the last 5 or 6 minutes for Kentucky. I think we just need to put some pressure up on him and obviously contest his jump shot and keep him off the boards. He's a very, very fine player.
He's pretty prophetic right there, Gary, because Mills is 5 for 6 so far in the first half. So obviously Seton Hall is trying to concentrate on him. They may not have to in the early going here. Let's see what Eddie Sutton's going to do about his second half starting lineup, because Sutton may decide to just put Mills on the bench.
Question of whether he wants to take that chance of picking up that quick 4th foul. He's going to put him in.
Yeah, he's going to let him play.
Going to let him play.
In fact, he's going to start with the same starting lineup that he had to start the game, as is Seton Hall.
All right, Mills has got 10 points, 3 fouls. Hansen a couple of fouls for Kentucky. Ramos is a big player physically and as far as the team's concerned. For Seton Hall, he has 3.
Those are the people who are in foul trouble. And we're underway. Sutton. Green still on him. That matchup will go on all of this game. There's Mills. Gaze on him. Sutton, Hansen. Hansen got around Morton, but he lost the ball. Gaze came away with it, and he got hung on to by Hansen. Hansen just reached in and hauled Gaze down.
You know, he made a good move. He got by Walker there and started down the lane, and he just lost the handle on the basketball, and Gaze was there to pick it off.
No, that'll be the third foul on Hansen. So he picks up a quick one here. So now both he and Mills have 3.
Kentucky can ill afford to lose these players because they're not a very deep basketball team. In fact, the youngest basketball team since 1945.
There'll be a lot of coaching done by Eddie Sutton on this club this season. There's Ramos working. Did he?
Offense.
Offense.
It is.
Backing in. Ellis went down. 4th personal foul. And now Carlissimo standing up on the far side. The coach of Seton Hall. He's got to take Ramos out.
Gary, whenever you make the decision that you're going to go inside with the basketball to try to create some fouls against the people inside, as Seton Hall is trying to do against Ellis, you run the risk of perhaps having it go the other way on you. And Ramos has picked up 4 fouls now, a couple of them offensively, and it's really hurt him. He'll have to go to the bench.
Franz Volsey is in the ballgame. Let's see how Seton Hall reacts, getting the big man Ramos out of there. Mills. Gaze on him. Sutton. Hansen faking on Green. Turnaround, Ellis hanging off the boards, and the foul's going to be on Hansen.
Not a good shot by LaRon Ellis that time. He was on the baseline, and he kind of got twisted like a corkscrew down in there and couldn't get around to get his shot off, and there were 2 people right in front of him.
That's 4 fouls now.
You can see right there, Green was right with him, as was, I'm not sure who the other player was in the inside there. Looked like Walker.
Walker was in there with him. So Hansen's got 4 fouls. He's still in the game. Green. Sutton came in from behind. Sutton picks up the loose ball.
Tough miss for Green right there. He had a nice little soft shot from about 8 feet and couldn't get it to go in.
Sutton's still in the game with 4. They want to get him out of there. Mills. Ellis coming over the top. Hansen right there. Hansen. And it's not going to go in. But he got fouled as Morton reached in. So Hansen stayed in the game and is still going to stay in the game because he's got to go to the line.
Tell you what, for a guy that's got 4 fouls, he was mixing it up pretty good in there. John Pelfrey awaiting his turn to get in here and get into the action.
36-32. Just underway here in the second half. Not another team able to put anything up on the board here for the second half. They'll try it from the foul line.
There's been one improvement from the last game that they played up here against Iona, as we see Hansen miss his first shot. I think it's the fact that Kentucky's done a little bit better job of rebounding than they did against Iona.
They were hurt in the rebounding department against Iona, even though they won the basketball game. Hansen able to make that one 1 out of 2, and now Hansen will get out of the ball game, and Pelfrey will come in. They were out rebounded by Utah 46-28 in that first game. That's Iona. That's a substantial difference. Green looking.
Yeah, inside again. He walked. Took a stroll in the park. I'll tell you what, when he took a walk, he took plenty of them. He took about 6 steps that time.
There was no missing that first big step either. Turnover. 14 for each club in the turnover department now. Pelfrey.
Well, good pressure by Morton that time out top on Mills. Look at Green on Sutton.
Mills. Morton staying right on him. Mills will pump up the 3-point opportunity. Scott. Gaze hit it, but he got fouled. Walker will be charged with a foul. That'll be his second. Gaze got the initial piece of the basketball, then Walker, who was also guarding, moved in and hit him in the arm.
Seton Hall, who was so very proficient in the first half of keeping those fouls down, you know, they didn't get into the bonus, and Kentucky didn't until late. And already they have 3, and we've only played 2 minutes.
36-33. Seton Hall on top. Sutton, Mills, Morton guarding him. There's LeRon Ellis underneath.
Good double team there by Green.
Mills turns around on Green.
Do you notice every time the ball goes inside to Ellis, Green leaves his man and goes in and double teams? He's done it the last 2 trips down the floor for Kentucky.
That freed Mills up that time. Down low again, the fake by Walker, and LeRon Ellis stuffed him. Good block by LeRon Ellis. There he goes again.
Great lead pass. I think Pelfrey was the one that made the pass that time, all the way about 3/4 court.
And Kentucky's on top by 1, 37-36. Mills has done this in this game, hitting in spurts. Walker, his own rebound.
Well, Walker right there on top of his miss.
First 2 points picked up by Darrell Walker, the senior from New York City. And it's 38-37 as we go back and forth as we did in the first half. Pelfrey to Scott. Outside Mills. In the corner. Knocked away Green. Green's got a 2-on-1 with Gaze with him. Now 2-on-2 Sutton back. It will count, and no, it will not count. Got him before. Sutton the foul.
Difference in the college game and the pro game. You see that one in the pro, it counts. It goes all the way in.
One continuous act, but not here. Sutton picking up his first personal foul.
With those unusual goggles on. Protect that broken jawbone that he has over his right eye, or below his right eye.
Morton 3.
Walker with another rebound. Ellis with a push.
Boy, did he go up strong on that one. Walker was in position, but Ellis gave him a little shove before he could get the shot off.
You know, Darrell Walker didn't score a point in the first half. I think maybe P.J. Carlissimo might have said some few words to him, because he has really come out in the second half ignited. He really is playing very well.
He got 14 points in the first game. Underneath again, there's Walker. Ellis just stood his ground.
Nobody's rebounding for Kentucky, and Seton Hall is doing a great job on the offensive glass. Second, third, and fourth shots.
Volsey had that rebound. There's Gaze. Looking to the corner. Three-pointer, Morton. Walker had it again. Knocked away. Ellis and Gaze, and Ellis hit it last.
I may have been too premature in complimenting Kentucky on their rebounding, because they're standing flat-footed, and Seton Hall moving everywhere around that basket to pick up those loose rebounds and loose balls.
Passed into Morton. Ball control right here. Walker again. And he gets fouled again. Boy, are they burying that ball down low in Kentucky right now.
Well, I think the thing they've got to do, Kentucky does, they've got to turn around and front Walker and keep the ball from coming in there. They're just allowing the ball to come in unmolested, untouched, and Walker's wheeling on them and going straight to the hoop. And nobody wants to commit the foul. Watch it. Walker wide open. Ellis backs off. Scott from the backside commits the foul. Good move in on the inside.
And Walker's definitely going to the hoop, trying to help out Seton Hall here. From the line, he's got it. Walker did not have a shot from the floor in the first half. That's just unbelievable. And so he's going to try and make up for it by the looks of it here in the second by going down low and doing it all. 1 out of 2 for him. 39-37, saved in by Ellis to Pelfrey. So Seton Hall up by 2. Sutton. Scott had position on Volsey.
I tell you what got him that basket was his size. They just couldn't fight around him. They got the ball down low on the block. And what Seton Hall has been doing successfully to Kentucky, Kentucky just did to Seton Hall on the other end.
12 times this ball game has been tied. It is right now 39-39. Gaze, Morton.
Back inside again. Morton's going to take it himself.
Over Scott.
Boy, nice shot. Tough shot.
John Morton, who averaged just under 13 points per game last season. He's a senior this year. He had 22 in the opening round here of the Great Alaska Shootout. He puts his team back on top again, 41-39. Sutton.
One of his rare shots.
Walker with a rebound. Walker's become a real presence. Green. Ellis trailing the play for Kentucky. Morton driving on Mills. Hit the side of the backboard. Seton Hall is just digging out these loose balls. Walker again. Ellis tried to draw the foul. He moved right into Scott, who's got a big smile on his face, because that foul was created by the shooter, Darrell Walker.
I'll tell you what, you talk about a great move. How about going across the lane and leaning your body into the defender and protecting the ball with your body and then rolling it up off your fingers. Watch it again, right here. Darrell Walker. He'll catch the ball. Now look, he's only wide open. Gets the basketball. Ellis is late getting there. He floats by, and Walker just leans into Scott and draws the foul. Good offensive move.
Great offensive move to draw that foul. Leron Ellis waiting on the line. On the paint. I don't know what the message was that P.J. Carlissimo gave to Walker at halftime, but I think he had a bottle and save it for the rest of the season. He gets the first one. 4 points for him. 42-39. Seton Hall trying to move on here in this Great Alaska Tournament. As the shootout will roll on, California will be playing Kansas in the other winners bracket game later on today. And he makes them both. 23-39 now as Walker gets both of them.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We discover it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you gain self-confidence. Become a person with a future. We're not a company. We're your company. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
You got a little guy there? Just might have what it takes. Too bad my ability to go tennis talent doesn't do a thing for my investment. But that's why I have commitment. With today's volatile market, you need a carefully designed plan with a solid foundation and a strong potential for growth. You need Payne Weber. Good thanks, kid. What's your name? Jimmy. Jimmy. Thank you, Payne Weber.
Yeah. Thank you, Payne Weber.
Payne Weber. The handsome, dashing Ford Aerostar from 1989. It's really quite a van about town. Traveling with the sports crowd. Playing the market. Escorting ladies. Pulling its own weight. Staying out all night. And powering its way to the top. Ford Aerostar. It's in a class by itself. Now get a $500 cash bonus on Ford Aerostar.
Seton Hall that finished last season 8-8 in their division, but 23-13 overall.
There's an interesting fan right there. Everybody has seen him, I guess, on every television show that Kentucky is on. Steve Reardon is attending his 602nd consecutive game. The last game he missed that Kentucky played in was New Year's Eve, 1968.
The walking Kentucky history book of basketball right there.
Kind of looks like Colonel Sanders a little bit.
He does, doesn't he? Pelfrey breaking it. Seton Hall putting the pressure on Sutton. 15 minutes to go, second half. Leron Ellis forcing it up, tipped away by Scott. Good play. Sutton underneath. Mills all by himself.
Big basket right there for Kentucky. They needed a momentum builder, and that'll help them. They're down by 2 right now.
Still going underneath Seton Hall. Volsey.
Oh, what a nice shot. Yeah, he was off balance, kind of gathered himself and went back up strong right over Scott.
Good turnaround. Volsey now has 6 in the ball game. Volsey's having to work off the bench, the junior at 6'8". Because Ramos is out with 4 personal fouls. So Seton Hall missing their big man under there. Leron Ellis. Good pass.
Well, that's where you take advantage of your size. Sean Sutton looked inside and saw the Walker was on Ellis, and he just lobbed it over his head.
Again, Seton Hall leading by 2. There's Walker. Green. Seton Hall wanting to go to the set play here with 14:09 remaining and with a 2-point lead. Green looking. There's Walker again. Double team. Offensive. Walker on the spin, charged with his 3rd personal foul.
What happened was he hooked him with his left arm as Ellis was right on top of him. He didn't want to try to shoot it over him for fear of having it blocked. So what did he do? He wheeled, grabbed him with his left arm, and tried to spin around him. And good call by Dave Dodge that time down underneath.
Coach has got the jacket off.
See, he can't go anywhere. He can't go to the outside. Look at the arm. See the hook? Right there. Well, was that obvious?
Could go fishing with that hook. That had a big bend on it.
Well, they got a few fish around here you can catch, I'll tell you.
Pelfrey gets it over to Mills. Leron Ellis on the high post. Mills. Batted blocked by Green. Sutton kept it alive to Mills. Pelfrey. Ellis looking. Mills. Pelfrey. Plenty of time. Kentucky running that clock. You've got a full 16 on the shot clock. Mills. Sutton to Pelfrey to Mills. 8 seconds now on the shot clock. One-on-one, Mills. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Mills took it, lost it, knocked away. Hazen last to touch it. Kentucky gets it back.
Pretty good break right there. Kentucky ran their offense, got it down to the last 5 seconds. Mills took a tough shot. Seton Hall slapped it out of bounds, and the Wildcats will get it back.
13:15 remaining here. Sutton. Yeah, I got it. For 2.
That's only, I think, the 4th shot I've seen him shoot in 2 days.
He hasn't taken many. 45-45. He did not score from the floor in their first game. Anthony Avent is in the ball game now. This is Gaze. Oh, a big collision. And it's a blocking foul.
Kentucky thought they had one on Gaze, but Feldhaus was going to be called for it. I would say if Feldhaus thought he had one, he was sitting on his backside cheering. He said, I've got me a charge. Wrong. Going the other way. Gets his first personal foul. Feldhaus committing it. That's the 7th team foul. Gaze is going to go to the line. Andrew Gaze, 23 years old, coming over from Australia. Gaze will probably have only 1 year of eligibility. NCAA has to make a ruling on him because he's played for the Australian national team for so long and desires to do so again.
You know, I was reading something about him in the paper, the local paper here. They said he's been playing with his club team since he was 5 years old.
That's a lot of basketball.
That's a lot of basketball.
International basketball, because they travel all over the place to play.
One of the things I'd be interested in asking him is if there's much of a difference in playing American rules versus international rules, because he played for so many years under international rules.
Dad said he thought it was a little more physical. We talked to him before the game. But other than that, he didn't think there was a whole lot of difference. Spreads the game out.
I think I'd agree with that. I think it is a more physical game in the American rules.
Feldhaus, another 2-point game here. Lob, Gaze was there. Ellis was trying to get in for the alley-oop. Bad pass. Gaze brings it up himself. Seton Hall leading 47-45. Walker. Three-pointer, Gaze. Got it short. Touch nothing. And he just shakes his head on that one. He was just 1 for 6 from the floor in the first half. He's 0 for 3 on the three-point attempt.
You know, that Seton Hall started their game the other day, and Gaze made those first 2 3-point shots to get them off the mark.
He ended up going 3 for 6 in three-pointers in that first game the other day. But not close in this one. He just hasn't found the range. Pelfrey guarded by Gaze to Sutton. Leron Ellis. Move.
I'll tell you what, he really can wheel and deal in that middle in there. You get him the basketball, he's going to find a way to get it in.
And it's tied again, 47-47. 14th time this game's been tied, and Walker hit by Sutton. Second foul on Sutton.
You know, I like to watch the consistency of these two coaches in their offensive pattern because both coaches really try to push the ball to the inside. And if you notice that they haven't changed their defense, both teams have stayed with their man-to-man the entire game. The only time they play zone is when the ball's out of bounds. And both coaches decided early, we're going to push the ball inside. We're going to try to create fouls on the defense. That's why you got a lot of people sitting around with 3 and 4 fouls right now.
They've left the game up to execution. Darrell Walker. Chance to put his club ahead again. Does. These team fouls now will be adding up Seton Hall's favor every time they get to go to the line in 1-on-1 situations.
Good thing Walker decided to come out here and play in the second half. He was a non-entity in the first half.
And he's got both of them. And Seton Hall is up by 2, 49-47. We've got a great one going here in the Great Alaska Shootout.
We're not a company.
But outstanding people come to us every day.
People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts.
People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual.
People who become your friends for life. People just like you.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
The Army.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
With its 24-valve V6 engine, double overhead cams, and 220 horsepower, the new Ford Taurus SHO isn't for everyone. In fact, only a select number will experience this sport interior and performance suspension. The new limited production Ford Taurus SHO. Power in the hands of a fortunate few.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Could it be any colder in here?
It's not that bad.
No, I just saw my breath in the kids' room.
Come on.
Admit it. We need a furnace we can actually afford to run. You know, like an Amana.
Amana?
It's reliable and efficient, so we can afford to keep the whole house warm. You won't get the Amana for me, then get it for the kids.
I've never heard the kids complain.
Good night, Daddy.
That's not fair.
When you know exactly what you want, Amana.
Kentucky's come out hot from the floor, 8 for 12 here in this half, shooting 66%. But Seton Hall
still has that 2-point lead. We have got all kinds of activity coming up. The Great Alaska Shootout Championship night will be Monday. We'll see who'll be involved, but we'll have both games, both the consolation game and the championship game here for the Great Alaska Shootout. That'll be coming up Monday night. Sutton with the basketball. Kentucky will bring it up trailing by 2. See the numbers and the field goal percentages.
It's interesting the Green's out of the lineup right now. P.J. Carlissimo's got him sitting over there for a little while. I think giving him a little bit of a breather. Bring him back in later on. He'll be fresh.
He's the man who runs the ball club. Mills. Free.
Who was it?
Will not count it. It was in the rim.
It was either Feldhaus or Ellis. Both of them were up there. Watch it again. You'll see Chris Mills turn and take the shot. He missed it. Now watch the ball come up. Watch the follow. There's Ellis. There's Feldhaus. I think Feldhaus was the one that touched it. It looked like a legitimate tip to me.
Like it had come back out again. Wigington, the smallest man in the Big East, right here. Number 4, working out on the top now with Green out of the ball game.
Kentucky's gone to his own. First time this evening.
Pookie Wigington right there. Wigington just 5'4", 140-pounder. Walker drops it off. Looks like Seton Hall is going to try and run some time down here. Morton, got 10:50 remaining to go in the second half. 2-point game, Seton Hall on top. Wigington drawing the cheers and the drive. Walker just got the shot off before he ran out of time, and a foul underneath, and the rebounding action is going to go against Seton Hall, pushing off Anthony Avent.
6-team foul for Seton Hall. Kentucky already over the limit. So the next one, everybody will be shooting free throws.
Anthony Avent committing his first foul, giving Kentucky the basketball. Now with a chance to tie this thing up again, the Wildcats. Pelfrey. Oh, almost lost that one. Mills, Sutton, Wigington on him. There's Ellis. Sutton. Feldhaus back out. Ellis got it. Nice hook.
I'll tell you what, that was a lucky flat pass by Sutton that time to Ellis inside. He was about to lose the ball, and he just slapped it in there to Ellis. Nice little jump hook, about a 6-foot baby hook.
All tied up again. 15th time this game has been tied. Avent's pass was knocked away. Another turnover, the 15th, committed by Seton Hall.
Big basket here. It could be a turnaround for Kentucky. They can take the lead here. I think the first time in the second half.
They've been battling just to get the thing tied. Mills. Pelfrey for 3. No. Cooper the rebound. Wigington. Right off the bench, the little guy gets 2. And gives Seton Hall a 51-49 lead.
He says, don't back off of me. I'll show you I can shoot.
Pookie Wigington puts it in. Pelfrey guarded by Morton. Had some trouble getting rid of it. Mills been the release man. He's been open most of the game. Ellis tried to force it in, and it went out of bounds off his foot. Feldhaus coming out of the game now for Kentucky.
Hanson's back in.
Hanson in foul trouble, has 4.
Green's back in the lineup for Seton Hall.
He'll take charge right away. Cooper, Morton, 3. Ellis, lost it.
Tough Karam came off the back of the rim, and Ellis tried to reach back and grab it, couldn't get it.
Here at the George M. Sullivan Arena, Anchorage, Alaska, the Great Alaska Shootout, day 2 here, as we are seeing the first game of winners. Avent missed it. Rebound taken down by Mills. We will be with you for the championship and consolation game on Monday. Sutton goes down to the corner. Great Alaska Shootout continuing today, tomorrow, and Monday. Hanson. Pelfrey got it down to the corner. Sutton. Cooper the rebound.
Good run out.
There's one. It's going to be a charge. An offensive foul called on John Morton. Pelfrey took it.
I'll tell you how big a call that was. Walker was streaking on the left side and wide open. If Walker could have looked up, gotten the basketball to him, it was an easy layup. See Walker, 24? He's dashing down that side. I'll tell you what, they had a wide open play right there. I'll tell you who else was down there was Anthony Avent. He was down open on the inside, too.
Lots of room to go with it. 51-49, Kentucky again. Trying to get this thing tied. Sutton. Hanson. Walker.
Boy, Ellis
Miller
really working on the inside.
Nice tip away underneath by Darrell Walker. Green. 3. Morton. Walker.
Oh, what a rebound. Walker, good hand. He just simply took it away from LaRon Ellis and went right back up with a power move.
That's 9 for him now. All coming here in the second half, and Seton Hall 53-49. We are down to 7:58 to go in the half. Real good basketball game here to see who moves on in this winner's bracket.
Move on to the championship game.
Sutton. This is Hanson playing with the 4 personal fouls. Sutton down to the corner.
Well, I tell you what, LaRon Ellis is really working on the inside to get open.
Miller went for 3, missed it. And there's Green coming away with a loose ball.
Pushing the ball up the court. They've got the numbers.
Avent. They're rebounding. Morton gets it.
Got to take a timeout. Kentucky's going to need a timeout.
Well, we've seen these kind of runs go through this game, and right now it's running for Seton Hall as they've got the lead.
There's a fresh breeze blowing your direction. A wave that sees you through. Because you're busier, you're gonna love what we can do. We do a lot for you. We're doing better ways to make you like the way we're helping you. Every day there's so much more we can do for you. Ocean Federal has a way that's right for you.
Enjoy the sun year-round with a Payco or Sierra sunroom from Centennial Leisure Centers. Payco operating casement windows can change a sunroom to a screened-in porch in minutes. Sierra sunrooms can be used for greenhouses, pool enclosures, and are ideally suited for spa enclosures. Installation can be made in less than a week by our experienced crews. And we also have a complete line of wicker furniture and other items at low, low wholesale prices.
ESPN Saturday Stampede. Unstoppable power unleashed every week. A thundering herd of the country's best college football teams colliding throughout the day live. Florida State is bound for a major bowl game. But first, the Seminoles want to finish the regular season with a win against arch-rival Florida. See the showdown live Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
California, Kansas will be playing later on to decide what other team will move on to the championship game. And one of these two will. But right now, it is really up in the air. This has been an outstanding basketball game. Both teams making runs at it. Kentucky taking the timeout, trying to slow down Seton Hall. Hanson having trouble getting it in. Got it to Scott. To Mills.
Well, that pressure is really tough by Seton Hall and trying to inbound that pass. Kentucky's had considerable problems just trying to find somebody open.
The teams have shot well from the floor. 56% for Kentucky. Seton Hall trailed off a bit the second half. 37% of the game. And we will get the whistle. And a substitution right now. Morton picks up the foul. That's going to be his 4th. And Gaze is going to come back in the game, and Morton is going to come out.
Tell you what happens here. They pick up a little bit offensively with Gaze in the lineup. They lose a lot on the defensive end with Morton out of there because he is a good defender.
Ramos still riding the bench for Calissimo and Seton Hall as he has 4, Morton 4. Walker's playing with 3. Hanson did not get it. That was a 1-on-1 chance. And Green's going to slow it down. 6 minutes and 48 seconds remaining to go.
Kentucky staying in that zone defense. They went into it about 3 minutes ago, and they've decided to stay with it. I think they've got some people with foul problems they don't want to expose.
Kentucky has Hanson with 4, Mills, Scott in foul trouble as well. 3. Gaze, Green. Seton Hall willing to just run some time off here if they can. Cooper. Tried to go underneath. Got a lucky bounce to Walker. Tipped up. Gaze tipped it in. Andrew Gaze.
That ball was tipped by about 4 sets of hands up there. I wasn't sure who got it.
Came in right underneath the pack. 57-49. Gaze now has picked up 6 points in the game. Scott. Sutton. Starting to shoot a little bit. Puts that one in.
You know, I think Green just doesn't have any respect for Sutton's shooting. He's just taking off and leaving him and double teaming the ball. When the pass was reversed, it comes back. Sutton's wide open.
Defense. No, Mills with a rebound. 57-51. Seton Hall on top with 5:40 remaining to go. Kentucky bench cheering their players on the floor right now. Sutton lost that one. Gets it away to Scott. Ellis. Hansen looking underneath at Scott. And a good turnaround by Mills. Mills gets the 2 points. Good play by Mills.
Kind of thought for a minute there Seton Hall was going to pull away in this basketball game. They got that 8-point lead, and now Kentucky's cut it to 4.
57-53. 5:08 remaining to go here. Gaze. And now Seton Hall's going to set it up with Green and Gaze working outside.
As if Kentucky's going to be content to let Seton Hall do some shooting from the outside, but they don't want the ball back inside anymore.
That's Cooper. Green down to 4:49, 13 on the shot clock.
So who are the good shooters for Seton Hall? Well, they got it inside on the zone that time, and they threw it away.
Side pass. Avon, a couple of turnovers here. 17 committed by Seton Hall now, and Sutton brings it back up. Kentucky's had 20 turnovers themselves in this game. Hansen. Scott. Hansen. Green was reaching in on him. Mills. Plenty of time on the clock. Sutton.
Awful lot of standing around on offense by Kentucky. They're going to have to do something. Seton Hall really putting good pressure on the defense.
Hansen. Mills. 15 on the shot clock. Cannot get it to Ellis. Hansen takes it.
Oh, what a tough shot. 2 guys all over him. Seton Hall did everything they could with their defense, and he still buried it.
5 points for him, and it's down to a 2-point lead now for Seton Hall. Underneath, reaching around. They are forcing the ball into Walker, and I think Hansen picked that foul up.
I think it was Scott.
Scott?
Yeah, I think it was Scott.
In that case, it'll be a break. It is going to be Scott charged with it. As you look at John Sutton, he's going to come out of the ball game right now. And Pelfrey's going to come back in. John Pelfrey.
You know, I think maybe Eddie Sutton looked up and saw that his son, Sean, was getting a little fatigued out there because there wasn't a lot of crisp movement with the basketball out front the last 3 trips down the floor. So he's got him out of there now. Let him take a breather for a couple of minutes. Let Pelfrey handle the basketball and come back in with Sean right in the last 2 minutes.
Pelfrey, just a freshman. Darrell Walker on the line. Yeah, he's got it. Walker's now 6 for 7 from the free throw line. 10 points, all in the second half. 58-55, Seton Hall by 3. 4. He got it. Boy, he is having himself a great second half. Seton Hall leading by 4 with 3:53 left.
I don't know. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
You don't want those fries.
What are you going to do, Jack? Eat your way to college?
Hey, really? I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The GI Bill.
Are you using that pickle?
For young men and women in the armed forces, it's a great place to start. See a local military recruiter.
You're looking at a winner. It's Ford, America's best-selling truck line. And it wins in loyalty, too, with the highest percentage of repeat buyers of any full line of light trucks.
See the entire lineup of tough Ford trucks during the Ford Truck Month celebration.
We'll put the tee right here. Now that's going to be a really tough par 3. I'm designing courses, I've got my business interests, and I've got my golf to keep me pretty busy. I'm taking care of today. that I'm letting Payne Weber take care of tomorrow.
It's a tougher course for investors with today's volatile market, but Payne Weber will carefully plan an approach that will help you reach your goals.
Thank you, Payne Weber.
Plan your tomorrows carefully today with Payne Weber.
Seton Hall leading by 4. Larry, let's take a little storyline on this one.
Well, look at Mike Scott pass the ball inside to Chris Mills. We talked about Kentucky having to get offensive production out of LaRon Ellis and Chris Mills on the inside. They've done that. They've gotten 36 points. For Seton Hall, the offensive rebounding and Walker's second half scoring have really been the story. The Pirates player on the inside takes the rebound away from LaRon Ellis. And that's the reason right now, I think, that Seton Hall has that 4-point lead. It's been the play of Darrell Walker.
Their offensive rebounding in the second half, 8-2 against Kentucky offensive-wise. They've had the better of it offensive-wise, 12-8 over the game. And now, did that one touch up underneath? Yes, it did. It hit on the backside of the backboard. Carlesimo was up hollering for the call, and he got it. A turnover, and Seton Hall will get it with their 4-point lead.
Big turnover right there. Kentucky had a little momentum. Seton Hall had gotten the last 2 baskets. Now they can turn it back over to the Pirates.
Gaze can't get it in. Couldn't get it in.
No, he didn't get it.
Did not
he
get
wanted
it in
timeout, and a 5-second count had already gone. Boy, 2 turnovers in a row. We haven't had a second tick off the clock.
Pressure's building up right now with 3:52 remaining, and the players are feeling it. Hansen trying to get it in now. Does to Mills, knocked away by Morton out of bounds. Now Ramos is back in the game. He's been out most of the second half. He's back in there with 4 fouls. The big man for Seton Hall. Ellis. Walker leaned on him a little bit, but not enough to draw the foul. Pelfrey working the offense now for Kentucky. Hansen to Mills.
It's an interesting matchup. Gerald Green on Chris Mills. 6'1" against 6'7". Will they go inside to Mills and post him up?
Mills has had a hot hand in this game. Hansen, Pelfrey, Mills playing at the top here with 14 on the shot clock. 3:18 in the game.
I'd take Mills inside. Take him in there and post him.
Leron Ellis, Pelfrey, there's Mills. Over him. Thank you. Thank you. You got that one, big fella. 2-point game, 59-57. Morton. There's Ramos. Morton thinking about 3. Ramos knocked away by Hansen. Big steal. The other way, Mills. Green on him, and he commits the foul.
How many times do you see it happen when a guy makes a bad pass, as Gerald Green just did, into the teeth of that Kentucky zone? The ball's turned over, they go the other end, and Green committed the foul.
Frustration gets high when you make that kind of a turnover.
That's a tough play. I mean, P.J. Carlesimo is doing the right stuff, trying to get the ball to the inside, and Green just made a bad pass and a bad foul right there. And a good job by Kentucky and Chris Mills to get out there on the break.
Second foul committed by Green. Mills, 20 points. Working on it.
Yeah, there's twice in the second half. I thought Seton Hall was going to blow this game wide open. They got an 8-point lead and a 6-point lead, and both times Kentucky came back.
Free throws. Kentucky's had some trouble here in the last couple of minutes on the free throws, as Mills unable to convert on that one.
It's frustrating. As a coach, you sit there, you can't coach free throw shooting. I mean, the guy's got to walk up there with confidence and make them.
Mills will make that one. 1 out of 2. Kentucky 2 for 5 now from the free throw line in the second half, and Mills has 21 points.
Well, Ramos wants that ball inside.
Seton Hall hasn't had a field goal over the last 4 minutes of this game. Green will set it up. We're down to 2:37. 59-58, a 1-point game. Seton Hall on top. Gaze to Green. Looking to drive Morton. He's in the paint a long time. Sutton stolen away.
Well, that zone defense is causing problems for Seton Hall, Gary. They've been trying to get the ball inside. They've had success with it. They continue to try to push it in there, and they cannot get the ball in against this Kentucky zone.
They're trying to go through people, and that's just not working, and Kentucky's going to take the timeout. 2 minutes, 12 seconds remaining. This one's a 1-point ball game, and Kentucky will talk about it.
What's up, Big John? You got 5 feet. Done. All right, I'll be right back. Daryl, how can you deal with that now? I know. It's this. Showtime, baby.
Beechwood aged Budweiser.
Hey, man, good job. You the best. Hey. Great, look at that.
In every town in America, there's always one place that does a little bit better job of fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Americans buy lots of imported cars. Isn't it nice to know that Napa has the parts right here when you need them? Don't miss the boat on parts for imports. Come to Napa.
Free throws obviously are going to be very important in the final 2:12 of this one. Kentucky in the second half has gone 2 for 5 from the line. Seton Hall's 9 for 10 in the second half from the foul line. That's the difference in the game right now.
Well, Kentucky's within one and with the basketball. I tell you, you talk about a big basket. This one could be the biggest one of the evening because it's going to decide who's going to have the lead. Oh, he almost threw it. He threw it off of Ellis's backside. It almost went into backcourt.
That's called a break right there. Sutton, Morton reaching around on him. Ellis, the big man, over Ramos. Good job by Ramos. Now in the rebounding action, a foul, and Hansen, I think, is gone. Reggie Hansen commits the personal foul, and he is going to go to the bench, out of the game.
I question really that shot that LaRon Ellis took right then. He was on the baseline, and Ramos was right in his face. I don't know if that was a good shot at that point in time, and maybe he should have kicked it back out and maybe reset the offense again because Ramos was right in his face.
Hansen leaves with 5 points, 6 rebounds for him. He was 2 for 3 from the field, 1 for 3 from the line, and Hansen, not wanting to leave in this key point of the game, is out of there, with Seton Hall leading by 1. So Kentucky did not get that big basket, Larry, you were just talking about. Chance to go on top.
Now let's see if Seton Hall can take advantage of it because now Walker can walk to the line as well as they've been shooting free throws in the second half. You got to believe they're going to walk away from this line with a 3-point lead.
Walker's 7 for 8 from the line. And he doesn't get it. Ramos, Feldhaus were there, and it will be Kentucky's basketball off Ramos. So they do not convert.
Big miss by Walker that time, front end of a 1-and-1. Here's that pressure again.
Pelfrey takes the inbounds pass. We're down to a minute 57. 59 to 58. Seton Hall leading by 1. Kentucky's got the basketball. Mills, Sutton. Mills out deep. Green still guarding Mills, so Mills still has that height advantage Larry was talking about earlier if he goes down low. There he is out deep. Ellis. 17 on the shot clock, minute 30
Green
of the game.
almost sneaked in behind him to get that basketball. He was taking a look at it.
There he is out deep again. 10 on the shot clock. It's running. He knows it. Mills working. Did not get it. Big rebound to Gaze. And it's 16 in the game.
Good defensive job that time by Gerald Green. He stayed right with him.
8 rebounds picked up by Gaze. That's been his big part of the game. He's been off shooting, but he's been rebounding, and we'll get a timeout. Kentucky has just 1 timeout left. Seton Hall had 3, now down to 2. And we've got just a minute 5 remaining. Still 59-58. Carlesimo's club right there on top by 1. You know,
let's go back and take a look at what Gerald Green did defensively against Chris Mills. Now watch him right there. You're going to see the young man. He does such a great job, number 15. Mills is trying to get open on a one-on-one move. Watch him through the legs. Little reverse. Green is still there. He comes back the other way. Green is still not moved. Mills is all over him. He's got 6-inch height advantage, and Green right in his face. That is a terrific job of defensive work by Gerald Green.
Mills gave him about every move he had in his repertoire that time to try and get into the lane, and just could not get by him. Ended up forcing the shot up. And Kentucky talking about how they will play this final minute 5. Seton Hall took that timeout, so Kentucky still has 1 timeout remaining, and Seton Hall with 2 left.
Well, the old wheels are turning in the respective huddles of the blue and white on both ends.
This is where you do your coaching, and this is where you find out who the coaches really like out there, because they're the ones who are going to handle the basketball right now. Big possession for Seton Hall. Green. They've got 30 seconds of the shot clock. 1 minute left to go in the basketball game.
Now remember that Seton Hall's offense has been stagnant, and they miss again on the inside. They got the rebound.
What a big second half. Walker, another offensive offensive rebound. 61-58 Seton Hall.
No one in a blue jersey on the inside. You always see the defense of the triangle blocking out. That time it was the offense that had the triangle.
And that initially was a bad shot taken by Morton. Kentucky with only 33 seconds left. Going underneath to Ellis. He got pushed by Ramos, and he's gone. Ramon Ramos on the pushing foul. He will leave the basketball game with 31 seconds remaining, and Leron Ellis will go to the line for Kentucky.
Let's go back and watch the hero of the second half, and maybe for the basketball game, Darrell Walker. Look at how they surrounded the basketball. Gaze is there, Ramos is there, and Walker is there. The blue shirts are all screened away from the outside, or on the inside, because they're all on the outside, and it's their defensive glass.
Ramos leaves the game with 8 points. Got them all in the first half. He didn't play much in the second. He got into foul trouble. So Ramos is gone. And Ellis will go to the line. And another set of big free throws here. 61-58. Seton Hall on top. Leron Ellis did not get it on a 1-and-1 rebound. He got fouled. Pelfrey on the rebound underneath, and he's going to go to the line.
Oh, what a big rebound that was for Pelfrey. He got inside. I don't know how he worked his way in there.
Good move, though. Played an inspired game here. John Pelfrey, the freshman.
Watch Pelfrey work his way to the inside. I think the ball came out a little bit long. It was tipped. There he is, right there to reach up and grab it. Now it's his turn to walk to the line and try to make it some free throws. Kentucky really struggling from the free throw line.
Not getting him in here. He's got two. He's got that one. 2-point game, 61-59. We've got 29 seconds remaining in this basketball game. One of these two teams moving on to the final, the championship round of the Great Alaska Shootout.
The question is, will Kentucky pressure after this shot?
Pelfrey, got it. Answer, yes. Now they'll drop off it, except for Sutton playing back on green. 1 point difference. Seton Hall with a lead on the basketball. 20 seconds remaining.
They can hold it.
They can run it out fouled. Sutton committing the foul. His third. Just to stop the clock with 17 seconds left. And so we go back to that free throw line again. That's where this game is being decided here in the second half as you look at Eddie Sutton, the head coach of Kentucky, and his whole staff.
And Seton Hall's win against Utah the other day. Gerald Green was well, let's see, his free throws, he was 1 of 2. Today, in the first half, he was 1 for 1. So he's going to walk up there with the big ones.
And he is 1 for 1. That's the only chance he's had from the line. Gerald Green.
Barry, that's a big one. He gets this one, and the whole strategy of the game changes. Kentucky then has to go for a three-point shot.
62-60. Seton Hall leading by 2. Seton Hall's gone 3 for 4 at the front end of the 1-and-1s here in this half. Green.
Got it. Now the three-point play.
17 seconds remaining. Kentucky does have one timeout. Sutton. 15 seconds. Mills. They'll probably want Mills and a whistle at the other end. Kentucky wanted that timeout with 12 seconds left to go. Well, what a great finish. This ball game has gone back and forth. 15 ties in this game. The lead changed 21 times. The lead has changed in this game.
A couple excited people just to be on ESPN. Take a look at the Kentucky huddle right now. The brain trust of the Kentucky Wildcats, led by Eddie Sutton, his assistants James Dickey and Dwayne Casey. You know, oftentimes I've been in a lot of these huddles, Gary, and I'm talking about sitting there as a player and also as a coach. And you sit there and you make all of these elaborate plans. And I think Steinbeck once wrote the greatest plans of mice and men. They do go awry.
They do go awry.
And oftentimes you make those plans and you walk out on that court and you feel like you've got the right plan, and something will happen. Somebody will slap the ball away, and then it's whoever can get there the furthest with the mostest.
Steinbeck had it right. It was the other side of Murphy's Law, right? More eloquently put, but if it can go wrong, it will. As this Great Alaska Shootout continues, we remind you that also today, in the losers bracket, Utah beat Iona 109-75. The other game in the losers bracket today, Florida will play Alaska, the host team. That'll be coming up next. And then later, California will play Kansas. The winner of that one will play the winner of this one in the championship game on Monday. We'll have both the consolation and championship games for you. Sutton, you see the clock. That's the time in the game. Sutton lost it. They got to get it up. Bellhouse missed it. Ellis running out of time. Did not get it off, and that's the game. Seton Hall gets a 63-60 win. They will move to the championship round of the Great Alaska Shootout.
Good basketball game. Well played on both clubs.
I want to tell you the second half by Darrell Walker was the difference in this ball game. There he is for Seton Hall.
All in the second half. Didn't have a single point in the first half. P.J. Carlissimo got into that young man's head and said, you've got to play in the second half. And because he did, they walk away a three-point victor here in this semifinal round.
And as you said, Larry, they would have put that little talk in the bottle and save it because it really did work as Walker ended up with the big one. So the victory goes to Seton Hall 63-60. Larry Conley and Gary Thorne, thank you for joining us. There's your final.
Let's go to the video tape in Philadelphia. Drop the road. It's 206 by King Cobra.